next semester, they can go straight into 202 because they have the prerequisite of 100. Does that make sense? We want to be careful with the placement exams and think about them as like a go-to. That's more going to be if a student is kind of in a unique situation where they're really they don't have to worry about remediation, they're not sort of catching up. In this situation, we want to err on the side of caution and add that class in. That's usually what we want to do. And then if they can, for some reason, they are able to take that placement test, well, that's great, and they can adjust from there. Does that make sense? Okay. So then we're going to come over to spring. First we look at biology 100 or 101. There's no prerequisite, we can leave that on the map. Then we look at ME 101. There's no prerequisite, we can leave it on the map. So, again, going back to that first do no harm, it's going to be important to check every class. After a while, you're going to have a muscle memory, especially if you're working with the College of Engineering a lot. You're going to get used to, oh, I know that Biology 100 doesn't have a prereq, but I think Chem 202 does. I'm going to look it up just to make sure. After a while, it's going to come a little bit more naturally, but until it does, you really should be looking up every single class. Okay? I know that maps aren't the best because they're not personalized, which is why we spend so much time focusing on personalizing them. And the thing is, you have the answers right in front of you, and we have to teach the student how to use those answers. So the answers are the personal information sheet and the catalog. Personal information sheet is going to tell us enforced registration or remediation needs, and the catalog is going to tell us prerequisites. Okay, so over to spring. I'm adjusting the units here. I'm not going to penalize if you don't, but I do want you to kind of pay attention to the units if you're adding a bunch of things and not taking anything out. Okay, so over to spring, we're going to take Math 151 out. Why? They don't have the prerequisite. So what are we going to add in its place? Math 141. That's correct. They're not ready to take Math 150 yet because they don't have Math 141. Does that make sense? Everybody good? Okay. What else am I going to do to this map? I'm going to look up Physics 195 and 195L, and when I do so, what am I going to find?
The prerequisite.
They have a prerequisite of what?
Math 150.
Math 150, so they can't take this class. So, I'm going to cross it off. What should I put in its place? Chem 202. Okay, because they already took Chem 100. So they're good to go. They can keep moving on. So we're trying to minimize how much more this student is going to have to take. And we're trying to get them caught up as fast as possible with the prereq courses so that they can start their prep for major. They can start those more advanced chemistry and all those classes. Is everyone good with that? Okay. All right, we're going to move on. Oh, question?
Yeah. Why do we cross Physics 195? Sorry.
Because we were missing the prerequisite of Math 150.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not going to penalize you if you don't adjust the units out. We just want to be careful that we're not adding a bunch of things and not taking anything away. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Okay. All right, next up is business. So what should we do for the fall semester? Anybody?
Cross out stats 119.
We're going to cross out stats 119, and what should we put in its place?
GMS 90.
GMS 90, that's correct. What's the next thing we're going to do in the fall semester?
We can't take it from
We're going to take away Econ 101, and why is that? The prerequisite. The prerequisite to Econ 101 is successful completion of the ELM, which they have not done yet because they're in GMS 90 right now. So again, you got to be checking all of those classes. If you see there's actual courses there, and not just like GE Humanities. So we can add GE if we wanted to. We could say, hey, pull over a humanities, or pull something from a future term, or we could simply adjust down the units. That's a conversation you can have with a student. Hey, do you want to just be full-time, just do the 12 units to start, or would you like to pull something from a future term? It's going to be up to them. They may want to just pull something from a future term, just because they're going to be a little behind with their math. So that's something they can be, you can have that conversation with them. Does that make sense? Okay. So what are we going to do for the spring term for the students? Yeah, they don't have the prerequisite yet because they haven't finished their ELM competency. So what are we going to add?
GMS 91.
GMS 91, that's correct. Any questions on that one? Questions? All right, we're going to move on to sociology, our last map. Okay. What are we going to do for this student in the fall, according to their personal information sheet? What do they need? They need GMS 91. What should we take away? GE Humanities. So why wouldn't we take away Social 101? It's a major prep. Yeah, so for everyone that just said that, thank you. It's a major prep. First, do no harm. Why would we take away a course that they need if they have the prerequisite, if they're allowed to go into it? Why wouldn't we take away the language first semester? Yeah, maybe they need that language. That's a great conversation piece though, because what if they say, hey, I have 3 years of high school Spanish. That means they only need the third semester, right? So now it's going to be up to them. Well, do you want to take Spanish 201, or do you want to take it away entirely at that GMS 91? Well, you have to have the GMS 91, but do you want to just, take it away and sub out that GMS 91? Any questions on that? Did I see your hand? No? Okay. All right, are we good? Okay. So when we're looking at a map and we're personalizing a map, we're first looking at the personal information sheet, because the personal information sheet tells us what? Required registration. So it shows our enforced registration, what we have completed, what we still need, and then it shows us right in that handy little chart, it says take this class, this semester, this class, that semester. Okay, so that's what we use the personal information sheet for. And then when we're actually personalizing the map and we're checking every class, we're using the catalog for what?
Check the prerequisites.
For checking for prerequisites, that's right. Okay? We good? All right. Okay, great. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have, oh, yeah, I just copied it. Just one per table. Just back to the side of the room, just one per table. All right, so what we're going to do as a team, we're going to take the opportunity drawing quiz. So this is a true-false quiz. It has the session number with the date, it has the socks, and it has the one topic that was covered. It's either going to be true or false. So go ahead and complete it as a team, and then you're going to give it to your TI when you're done. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is like any